HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is accusing food manufacturers of exploiting a loophole in order to stuff their products with questionable ingredients. An old FDA rule allows food makers to do their own safety testing and then market ingredients that pass their standards as, quote, generally recognized as safe. And that's without having to share their findings with the FDA. RFK Jr. wants Americans to know what's happening.
That loophole was hijacked by the industry, and it was used to add thousands upon thousands of new ingredients into our food supply. In Europe, there's only 400 legal ingredients. This agency does not know how many ingredients there are in American food. I'm not saying that we're going to regulate ultra-processed food. Our job is to make sure that everybody understands what they're getting, to have an informed public.
Now listen to this. The CDC reported that between 2021 and 2023, adults and kids got more than half of their daily calories from ultra-processed foods. Emily, this is a big thing, and it's funny. Ultra-processed foods were not on my radar. I just kind of ate what I ate growing up. But my brother, who is an ER doctor, was talking to me about the dangers of these ultra-processed foods. They're easy, they're cheap. It's why people get them, but they can have deleterious health consequences.
And I think to the Secretary's point, most people don't understand what ultra-processed or processed even means. And many people reach for things that they think are healthy. Even yogurt can be considered ultra or processed, right, in certain regards. And we were talking about that the other day. And so I really appreciate, too, as someone, and we've all shared this notion that the government doesn't solve problems, and certainly the FDA doesn't. Transparency does. Yeah. So I appreciate so much that finally we have an administration and here a Health and Human Services Secretary that says, my goal is not to regulate your diet. It is to keep you informed. So it takes away the obfuscation. And I'm not quite sure why in the past there's been so many people resisting and equating Make America Healthy Again with some kind of nefarious purpose on behalf of this administration. No, this administration is trying to put all the power back in the hands of everyone individually. And that should be something that we are all grateful for, because learning these things and having the Band-Aid ripped off, hopefully everyone is redesigning and redoing their entire kitchens and meal plans, because this blows up everything. But it blows up commercials too. And it blows up all the things that were given in Super Bowl and the like, and what you reach for on a snack basis. That will all be different from now on.
Marcus, and I get it's a balance. You know, obviously we're a capitalistic society. These generally safe ingredients, you want people to create new foods and to discover and to innovate. But at the same time, Europe, more strenuous standards. And I've encountered this as a mom with formula. People were like, why are you using European formula? Their standards were stricter. And ultimately, now that we've gone down years of the path of baby formula, I think it was proven correct.
This is a big conflict for me, because as a capitalist, I am applauding this idea. I live with an eating disorder even as I sit here today. And as a child growing up, not having information about what was in the food that I was choosing and not knowing what I should choose was a big problem for me. My parents worked multiple jobs, so I was left home alone more often than not. And had I known today what he wants people to know, I could have avoided a lot of near-death experiences for myself. And so I don't agree with everything that he says, but I do agree with, and I stand vehemently on this issue, that transparency in food is still giving you a choice. I just need you to know there's some bad stuff in there or not good stuff in there.
Yeah, and Harris, absolutely, and thank you for sharing that personal experience. I mean, when you look, kids over age 1 got half of their calories from ultra-processed food.
So, first of all, God bless you in your journey.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. I don't want this to become science for people. I really don't. Because people are fighting a different kind of a battle, too. It's a financial one. And if it's too difficult, if you live in a food desert and it's too difficult to get some of the foods that are going to be reprogrammed and redone, if you will. I mean, I love what Emily says. She's laying it out, how different things can be, and in some areas will be. But what I love about what Secretary Kennedy is doing is not only is he giving information and giving you a choice, he's making it very simplistic. He's not telling you to change your foods. He's telling these companies to be transparent and to change their foods. And because we can't make it harder for the consumer who has a tight budget. We can't do that. And your parents made a choice. They left you because they had to go and work.
Yeah, they had to.
To bring whatever food they could bring home. Well, you know what?
My parents didn't bring the food in. I went out and found it. because I was a kid. I didn't know. My mother didn't bring that kind of food.
But they brought home the means to do that.
Sure, yeah. I had $5,
work.
my allowance, and I would go spend it on the wrong things.
And so, you know, what does that look like in a real society where people are struggling? You can't make it too complicated for them. So what I like about this is they're going to work on the companies and then put those foods in the food line. And the president, with I think $1.5 or even more billion subsidizing farmers so that maybe those foods can be in the food chain a little bit cheaper too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an all hands on deck. It can't just be the consumer who's struggling, who's going to make these wholesale changes. I worry about that, and I like this as an answer.
Yeah, it's recalibrating, to Harris's point, what people are growing and what is in, you know, the ecosystem of food, but it is also knowledge. And what we find here, Leslie, is sandwiches, including burgers, were the top contributor of ultra-processed calories for kids and adults, making up 7.6 and 8.6%. You know, these are things you don't know. Maybe you think, you know, you're eating a burger and it's protein. So, you know, it's knowledge as well.
I agree. Actually, I was going to talk about, you guys read my mind like an algorithm, because I was going to talk about cost.
Or your friend.
I was going to talk about cost, and I was going to talk about education. You know, I went to Italy for 3 weeks, ate pasta every day, and came back 7 pounds lighter. That doesn't happen in the United States, and one of the reasons is what we put in our food, those hidden ingredients processing. Now, they are on the labels, okay? And if you ever look at, why do kids love ketchup? Sugar, right? There's a lot of sugar, and that's so that you buy sugar-free ketchup. It's still sugar and hidden sugars in there. High fructose corn syrup is, you know, one, hider of sugar. But two of the things are cost, right? Take a family where, you know, the parents are working 2 jobs, and you have that, I'm not going to say, you have that meal that's $1.99. You got 2 or 3 kids. You go through a drive-through because of time, because you got to go now to job B, and you have the time with the kids in between. You're going to do that, right? So there's cost that has to be considered. And then there is education. I think people need to know that, oh, ketchup has sugar, and that's why my kids like it, you know, so much. My husband, I was talking about this off the air earlier, he used to have a rule. If there were more than 3 ingredients on that product, it went in the trash. And it's hard to find. But even spaghetti sauce, and you just take 2 of them, and some of them just say, like, garlic, oregano, onions, olive oil, and then some say this enzyme and this amount of sodium, and where does this come from? And we need to educate people on reading the labels in order to buy, but we need to lower the price so that the thing with 25 ingredients.
Yeah, but the raw food is less expensive than processed food. It's a time issue. If your parents
But it's also getting it. If you're in a food desert, you can't even get there.
That's true.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
No, very true. Well, all good points, and we will continue to follow the MAHA movement.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.